How do cartel loads glide past patrol cars with lights on? Along Highway 61, 3 full 25-kilo convoys did, because badges cleared the way. In this video, we break down the FBI's 2-year undercover sting that flipped the script. Dealers complained, agents built a fake cartel, and officers lined up for paid protection. You'll see how serial-numbered cash, hidden cameras, and real-time comms documented sheriffs and city cops escorting narcotics like official business. Stay for the exact playbook: lead car, follow car, breaking points, and the bribe trail from $1,500 envelopes to $30,000 payouts. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. They didn't need a real cartel to get real cops. The blueprint started with complaints from street dealers who said uniforms were taking cash on stops. When the Bureau opened a file in 2022, they didn't wave badges. They built a world. Meetings moved to low-lit rooms behind restaurants and quiet corners of parking lots. The talk stayed practical. Where the heat sits on Highway 61, which nights run quiet between Leland and Clarksdale? How long a car can linger outside Yazoo City before someone calls in a plate? Agents spoke in windows and routes, not in code words or bravado, and that was the point. It sounded like logistics work because that's what smugglers actually do. The roles stacked like a small company. A boss set the tone, steady and measured, promising reliability instead of big scores. A dispatcher ran the clock, opened and closed 5-minute windows, and sent pins to phones that were already cloned. A courier carried the load story, down to which side street in Washington County offered a clean merge, and which bridge cameras to avoid near Vicksburg. Each part had a clear job, and each voice stayed in its lane, so the operation felt normal to anyone used to radio chatter and shift briefings. First contact didn't come from the agents. It came from those who wore the shield. They asked about rate, distance, and whether the run crossed county lines. They asked if the escort wanted lights or just presence. Some floated add-ons, a call to a buddy in the next jurisdiction, a favor with a dispatcher, a heads up about a checkpoint. The question under all of it was the same: how clean is this, and how fast do you pay? The offer was simple: a night run, 2 cars, 25 kilos moving between small Delta towns, no stops unless the lead unit ordered it. All an officer had to do was ride shotgun, clear a lane, and make the convoy look like official business. No paperwork, no seizures, no questions. A meeting spot, a time, and an envelope. Agents laid out the risk profile like a shift commander would. Traffic density by hour, choke points at county lines, and where to use hazard lights to slow a lane before an exit. They came with duty weapons and take-home units. Dash lights, radios, and uniforms that shift opinions in seconds. The badge became the commodity. The blue lights sold the illusion. When a marked car idled behind the load, civilians moved. Cameras caught an official-looking line of cars, and the whole thing passed as if it belonged there. That was the service on offer. The money piece never floated. Every envelope carried recorded serial numbers. Every handoff happened inside a camera frame, sometimes under a table, sometimes by a driver door with the mirror angled at the right height. Phones synced to a clone would flare with terms like insurance and donations, shorthand that read like fees for coverage. The paper trail ran straight from the first handshake to glove boxes and kitchen drawers. The first buy-in paid on time, down to the last counted bill. The second came with fewer questions and a tighter window. By the third, people arrived early, engines running, radios checked, and roles understood without prompting. The run felt like a shift detail, not a risk. That rhythm mattered. It showed pattern, not luck. With the cast set and the routine in place, the next step didn't need extra salesmanship. The convoys would move at speed, with marked units up front, timed braking points laid out in advance, and cameras watching from lots, cabins, and overpasses while the radios stayed hot the whole way. The playbook came alive on Highway 61. The run started at night with a tight window, maps marked with braking points, and radios keyed up. A lead car rolled first to clear the path. The load sat in the middle. a follow unit tucked in close to keep civilian traffic from pressing the bumper. Side streets handled the swaps. Handoffs happened in short bursts, a turn, a pause, and a merge back into the main lane before anyone had time to wonder why a marked unit shadowed an unremarkable sedan. The convoy didn't try to hide. It looked official because the lights and uniforms said it was. Jurisdiction was an asset, not a hurdle. A county unit opened the route inside familiar territory, knowing which intersections stacked cars and which lights gave long cycles. A city unit slotted into the middle when the road crossed into town limits, giving cover for turns and lane changes. Then a state trooper appeared where the county authority ended, setting a wider shield that made drivers pull back without a second glance. The uniforms changed, but the pattern stayed the same. Radios carried quick counts, distance, lane status, traffic ahead, and the timing never drifted. Car 1 acted like a scout. It took the brunt of attention, rode a touch over the limit, and tested the stretch for hazards. When it reached a choke point, flashers came on. Civilian cars slowed. The load slid through the space created by that brief flare of authority. Car 2 tightened up on the rear bumper and held it there. If a curious driver tried to pass, the follow unit drifted a half lane to shut the door. Rolling blocks formed and dissolved in seconds, clean enough to read as routine traffic control. The behavior matched a task force move. Intersections that would normally require patience turned into quick passes. Officers waved through with a palm and a nod. At on-ramps, the lead car slowed just enough to let the load settle into the protected pocket. The follow unit then opened room behind the convoy. No panic, no sprinting. Just steady, practiced control that looked like someone transporting sensitive evidence between jurisdictions. Every meeting and run lived on camera. Planning sessions happened under hidden lenses in cabins and backlot corners. Body cams recorded the pre-run checks, time windows, hand signals, and contingency routes if a lane clogged. Above, a drone drifted at a legal distance, watching the line of cars hit the marked braking points. Pole cameras covered the swap zones, catching handshake cues and the moment doors opened just wide enough for envelopes to move. Cash set the tempo between runs. Small rolls drew envelopes under $2,000, handed off by a car door or on a trunk lid with a quick count. When coverage jumped across county lines, the numbers climbed. One sheriff-level green light pulled more than 18,000. The top payout hit $37.5 for a package that included route setup and spacing. The difference matched risk and reach. Local presence cost less. Multi-county authority cost more. Asset tracking locked the story to the dollar. Investigators logged every serial number before a bill ever left an evidence room. After the convoys, those same numbers surfaced in kitchen drawers, center consoles, lockers, and safes during dawn arrests. The money trail ran in parallel with the escort trail, mile for mile. 3 runs, each built around a 25-kilo load, documented end-to-end with radios, cameras, and cash that could be traced back to the minute. When the sun came up and the cuffs clicked, the road went quiet. But the lights, the radio checks, and the counted bills kept talking on playback, frame by frame, from the first planned breaking point to the last envelope change. Repetition turned whispers into proof. The same crews ran the same lanes with the same payouts, and every bill matched the ride. That consistency matters more than any one arrest. It shows a system, not a fluke, and it shows how authority became a service with a rate card. Now push for daylight. Ask your county to publish interagency convoy protocols. Demand audit trails for task force-style movements. Who requested it? Who drove? What was moved? And when the cameras rolled? If official looks can be rented, the records should be public. And if 3 filmed runs passed as routine, how many never needed a lens?